Currently heading north on the River Severn. Yesterday it was just the same sort of temperature and I serviced my engine, which meant climbing in and out of an engine bay in this boiling hot heat. But anyway, I got on with it because it needed doing, and this is how I did it. Alice is fitted with a Canaline 42 engine which has 4 cylinders. As it's a new engine, I first serviced her at 50 hours. At 200 hours later, it's due for another. The first thing I needed was to have my serviceable items and tools at the ready. Both the engine and the gearbox use the same oil type. The engine holds around 8 litres and the gearbox 1.4, so I have 10 litres of oil. I have a new oil filter, air filter and fuel filter. I also had to have 2 spanners, a size 18 and 22, some oil filter pliers and a 10mm Allen key. The first thing I did was the easy one. I unscrewed the air filter lid anti-clockwise, removed the old filter and pushed the new one on. Then screwed the lid back on. If only it was all that easy. Next was to replace the oil in the gearbox. I cut an old oil bottle in half so I could slide it under the engine to the oil release screw of the gearbox. Using the size 18 spanner, I unscrewed the oil filler cap on top of the gearbox. This also doubles up as a level dipstick. Using the size 22 spanner, I located the drain screw nut on the base of the gearbox. I knew when I undid this, warm oil would pour out, so running the engine too long could cause the oil to get too hot and scald my hands. It didn't take long to drain the gearbox, and I refitted the drain screw. I put a small funnel in the fill hole and added around 1.2 litres of oil. I dipped the gearbox and filled a small bit at a time until the level on the dipstick was correct. The next thing I did was to change the fuel filter. I have a double filter on my Narrowboat, a Vetus filter and the one connected to the engine itself. I was only going to change the engine one today. I turned the fuel taps off. I then put a bag over the fuel filter and using the filter wrench I removed it, turning it anti-clockwise if viewed from below. The bag helped to catch any spilt fuel. At the bottom of the fuel filter is a metal bung. Using the 10mm Allen key, I removed this and transferred it to the new filter. It's likely I should have used this bung to drain the fuel from the filter before removing it, but this wasn't clearly explained in the manual. But I'll know for next time. I then applied a finger dipped in new oil to the gasket of the new filter and screwed it back onto the engine. I only screwed it on with hand force and didn't use the filter wrench. I then turned the fuel lines back on, and on the side of the fuel filter is a small tap. I unscrewed this and I could hear air being released. I then pressed the round button on the top of the filter that released the rest of the fuel until it came out of the tap. I then started the engine to ensure the diesel was getting to it correctly. With a slight cough and splutter, it cleared any air and worked fine. On the side of the engine there is a sump drain pump. This sucks the oil from the bottom sump of the engine. Ensure you unscrew the metal bung on its end or oil won't flow. I know this from bitter experience. I also removed the oil filler cap to avoid any vacuum. I turned the tap at the base of the pump and using an oil storage canister I pumped the oil out of the engine. It took quite a while with multiple containers, but finally I had no more oil to pump. I then placed a bag over the oil filter and once again used the wrench to unscrew it anti-clockwise. I used the bag as the filter is full of oil and I could easily drop the filter into the bag with minimal mess. I applied a finger of new oil to the new filter seal and screwed it onto the engine, again only hand tight. I filled the engine with just under 8 litres of oil and then ran it for a few minutes, ensuring the oil had gone through the filter. I then dipped the engine oil with the dipstick until it was at the correct level. On many narrowboats, the stern gland needs to be greased every trip. This avoids water seeping through the propeller stern assembly. Mine has a water lubricated stern gear, so don't need to do this maintenance or as part of the service. Although fiddly, the service of my engine was complete and I was ready for the River Severn. Next time I make the journey and head north. Don't forget to click subscribe to follow my journey. Until next time, see you later.